Yo, what's up? Welcome to the final build of the Scourge League. Finalize the league, let's say. I wanted to do something stupid and I picked Viper's Strike. Because it is the starter skill gem for Shadow, I picked Assassin. So simple as that, just a stupid build in the end. Maybe you, if you are checking POE Ninja from time to time, sometimes people play this, but mostly on Pathfinder because she is tankier. And I believe she has better mapping potential because she has poison, kind of poison proliferation, let's say. But I just wanted to also kill bosses fast. That's why I picked Assassin. I believe he has more DPS. But I am no expert on poison builds. I haven't played poison for at least a couple of years, let's say. Because these days, let's say explosive concoction is an exception. But until explosive concoction, there was no reason to play poison builds. So that's why considering today's standards, let's say poison builds, in my opinion, are not that good, except poison concoction. Again, we are not counting poison concoction because that is simply a broken skill, in my opinion. So yeah, we are gonna check Viper's Strike in this video. I tried this, so you don't have to. Actually, the DPS is good, the mapping is not bad, but because poison builds do not have any defensive, let's say CC, any form of CC, chill, freeze, I don't know, something other than those, maybe, if you can think of anything. And because this is a melee skill, because this is a poison build, again, you cannot also generate, let's say, fortification. So because normally on melee builds you probably need to have some fortification, so more layer of defenses, let's say. This build doesn't have any of those and you cannot fit in unless I missed anything. I had more than 25k evasion. With only 1 point I can also use iron reflexes. I played with both versions, one with iron reflexes, meaning more than 25k, 30k with flasks armor, let's say. Without iron reflex, lots of evasion. So both versions are equal in my opinion, but if you are lucky, obviously evasion is better. So I've tried both. I have kept chaos resist for some reason. Probably the talent tree let me do that. Some chaos damage, I believe notables also have chaos resist. Also, I used a circle of nostalgia ring with chaos resist, so I could easily keep my chaos resist without any flasks or anything. And that was pretty much it about the build. More than 5k life. So those are the defensive layers. So let's just check Viper Strike, Assassin. I will just explain the build in this video first, and I will just let you watch the clips. This is gonna be a short video, I am sure of it this time, because most of you won't even gonna watch this video, so probably this video won't get much views because it is a Viper Strike. Who cares, right? So let's just hop right into it fast. So Viper Strike is a melee skill that requires obviously melee weapons, but Claw Dagger or Sword. I picked Wasp Nest, 1 chaos item. Even at League Start you can just find these. So maybe you can play this build as a League starter if you want some, let's say, challenge, I'm not sure. Attacks with this weapon deal added chaos damage against enemies affected by at least 5 poisons. It's gonna be super easy to apply those poisons, plus lots of accuracy on these weapons, poison chance, crazy attack speed. So very good weapon actually for a low budget and also 1 chaos weapon. We are dual wielding these. So that's pretty much it. Viper Strike. Let's move on. Let's just check Assassin. Obviously Mistwalker, elusive on crit, so you will have elusive all the time. It says obviously crit. You are gonna maybe say this is a poison build, is this a crit build? Yes, this is a poison crit build. I actually have almost 100% crit strike chance. I wanted to scale crit in this build because Assassin have some synergies with crit strike chance. So you will have that elusive all the time. You can just press Withering Step as soon as you enter a boss or map if you just want to get that elusive. But if you hit, you need to refresh it obviously because you will lose that elusive from Wither Step actually. But once you crit, bam, refreshed, easy as that. Elusive obviously provides avoid damage taken from hits and movement speeds, which is nice. You are also crit immune, which makes Assassin tankier against crit strike, damages, let's say. Ambush and assassinate. Normally most people do not even take this, but I was trying, testing some stupid shit. All right, again, same reason. You normally go for opportunistic. It actually provides decent DPS, but for some reason ambush and assassinate seems to have better DPS. I can also Culling Strike, so that was also a cherry on the top maybe. Lots of damage with hits and ailments to enemies on low life, and also crit strike chance also on low life. Low life means less than 50% health, so a big chunk of health, let's say. So as soon as you just enter that final 50%, you just get a damage boost, let's say, and bam, after 10%, the boss is just dead. So this just helped me to kill bosses faster. That's why I picked this actually. You can again go for opportunistic if you want. It also provides some mitigation actually. But ambush and assassinate seemed better in my opinion for this kind of ridiculous builds. Noxious Strike, poison duration for each poison you have inflict recently up to 100%. This is what makes Assassin better for boss kills in my opinion, because you can stack so many poison. Also recover life per poison affecting enemies you kill. You will notice that while mapping, if you just get hit by a couple of thousand even, let's say, if you just kill that pack, bam, you are at full health. So it is super easy to generate life, your health back while mapping as long as you kill monsters. So this character has super nice healing. Finally, Toxic Delivery. Poison you inflict with crits deal more damage, so this is why you need to invest in crit. Also, per poison, flat crit strike chance, so it will be easier to cap your crit. Let's say, because Ambush and Assassinate also provides 100% more crit, as soon as the monster is on low health, again 50% or less, bam, your crit will just be like doubled or anything, something like that. I just checked in Path of Building right now, my crit normally is 48%, with low health enabled, bam, 97%, almost 100% easily, with a Diamond Flask. I'm not even using Battle Fate because this build doesn't deserve it. Let's just finish the equipment. So the weapons were Wasp Nest, next. Cherubim, Maleficence or whatever, the body armor, cheap, efficient. Provides chaos damage, life, good armor, evasion, everything this build needs. I believe this is like 1 chaos, I'm not sure. So a very cheap and common item. Helmet. I wanted to reserve lots of buffs, that's why Malevolence, reserve efficiency. You can also get, let me just check my buffs. Grace, maybe. Or Herald of Agony, just do the math in your own Path of Building. If that works, go for that. I picked Malevolence. I already have Grace efficiency on Talent Tree, so stacking more Grace actually won't help that much. That's why Malevolence is probably your best option, and maybe Herald of Agony, you need to calculate that. So a reserve efficiency, so you can generate reserve more buffs. I didn't even go for any influence types. Normally you need chaos, -9 chaos resist, yeah. On hunter basis, at least 85 item level. So if you are crazy, if you want to try this build, just go for that. But I just kept my resistances, put some life, and that's it. A cheap helmet in the end. For gloves, I invested a little bit in this. Because Viper Strike is a strike skill, I wanted that strike additional 1 enemy. That's why I did some crafting. Life, resist, whatever you can actually get while doing that. In the end, maybe you don't even need this, because while mapping you also need to use a melee splash support gem. So this build also does gem swap at big bosses. You don't need to do that in normal maps. So for Conquerors, Guardians, any big beefy targets, Sirus, Maven, you need to gem swap obviously. Melee splash with cruelty support, that is what I did. Again, you can use this gloves or not. I'm not sure, maybe go for another gloves. You can even maybe use Explode, Ascendancy gloves. I'm not sure, maybe that will help. Actually, once I get the Gloom Shrine, that is a Sextant modifier that can happen sometimes if you are using Sextants. Actually, the explosion is just gorgeous. So maybe using Ascendancy gloves can help with this build. You can also maybe try that. Boots. So I actually did this build with all the items in my stash. I haven't bought anything. I just bought a Circle of Nostalgia, I believe, and a couple of jewels and the missing gems, because I make lots of builds in every league. That's why my stash is a mess. I don't sell most of the stuff because I have more currency than I can spend actually if you play a lot, this game. So this was a high budget boot that I used on another build earlier. I just wanted Tailwind actually. The other stats are pretty much not necessary, let's say, not useless but not necessary. So for more attacks with Tailwind helps. But if you want to keep your maybe resistances, just get another boot. You will lose maybe a little speed and DPS. You don't need avoid projectiles, onslaught, whatever. I already use Silver Flask. Again, this boot is pretty much useless, the other stats, let's say, for this build. So just Tailwind. There is also poison you inflict deal damage faster on hunter basis, I believe. You can maybe also use boots with that modifier. That will simply fasten the mapping process, because faster poison means more damage in a shorter time. But for bosses you actually lose poison duration, so maybe it is not that it doesn't make that much sense for bossing in the end. So maybe you can try those kind of boots because they are super cheap. No one uses those. Next, Amulet. Obviously damage over time multiplier or chaos damage over time multiplier, or both if it can happen. +1 gems also works, so those kind of stats. In the end, hunter bases are your best option, obviously, because those modifiers exist on that base type, that influence. Attributes, if you still need, this was crazy, I don't know how I got this amulet. And life, that's pretty much it. For the annoying corruption, for wither effect, we obviously use wither totems, because wither is a debuff. That increases damage taken by chaos on the monster up to 15 stacks, so you want to use a wither totem setup on bosses. That is that purple circles. The totems will just cast it. We also use ancestral protector totem. Wither totems have multiple totem support attached, so that way you can actually summon both totems at the same time. Ancestral protector obviously is for additional attack speed, because this is an attack poison build. Rings, one is a rare ring for Despair, Curse, Resistances, Flat Physical, Flat Chaos, those all work for this build because poison scales on physical and chaos damage. Life and Resistance if you can do that, so the curse choice is Despair. You can also get Despair Glows if you want, if you don't want that strike additional target, because that's a little expensive and hard to find or craft, let's say. You can also use Hands of High Templar with Despair Curse actually, that will also work, so get that Despair Curse somehow, because sometimes rings are more expensive and hard to find. Other ring, Circle of Nostalgia. I believe this is the cheaper combination, because there is also cast damage and buff effect that should be more expensive. But I just wanted to keep my chaos resist, and there is also chaos resist on the implicit. I was lucky to find that for cheap. And I just used this because Herald of Agony is a buff that we use. It provides obviously poison damage, those kind of stuff. I also use Anomalous Herald of Agony, so the Scorpion actually has a chance to inflict Wither. So maybe that will help, because it was not expensive once I bought it a couple of weeks ago. Because I play a build and then upload it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And finally, I believe belt. Let me just check. Yeah, this is the final piece. Again, another piece that I used on an earlier build, let's say. Hunter bases are good to scale more life. Max life plus increased max life, and that's pretty much it. That is the only reason that I used a hunter base item. There's also chaos damage actually on hunter bases, so there are also some crazy belts that provide everything at the same time, life and chaos damage. So they are actually crazy. If you want those kind of belts, you can go for that. And also obviously resistances, and if the character still needs strength, just go for strength, because that is a good place. Belts are a good place to put strength. Let me just unequip this for a second. Yeah, I need that strength, but why? Let me just check in the Path of Building real quick. I'm not sure why I need that much strength. Maybe something is wrong. Yeah, Ancestral Protector Totem needs lots of strength. Maybe you can play with a lower level of that totem, lose some attack speed on bosses. You can do that if you just want to test the build. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Maybe you don't need that much strength in the end. That's pretty much it. Actually, I don't want to explain much stuff, because again, most of you won't even gonna play this build, maybe. Growing Agony, let me just show this. This is this is overpowered in my opinion. With at least 40 dex in radius, so meaning that you need to put this on a jewel slot that has dexterity in the radius. You do not need to allocate that. So just put this to wherever I put in Path of Building. If you are not sure, just follow the same Path of Building, same talent tree. The link is obviously in the description down below. Viper Strike deals damage with hits and poison for each poison. And also 10% chance per poison to grant Unholy Might. This is gonna be a permanent uptime on Unholy Might, because we are stacking at least 10, maybe 20 poison, I'm not sure. So it's gonna be 100%, so just attack, bam bam bam, and you will have that permanent Unholy Might. Unholy Might actually provides physical damage as extra chaos. Yeah, 30%. It provides at least 1 million damage in the end. So I believe, yeah, again, I believe this is an overpowered jewel that provides lots of DPS for this build. This is the special jewel for Viper Strike. I'm not sure if this is getting removed in 3.3, what's that, 17, next league, Arc Nemesis or whatever it is called. Because they just mentioned in Balance Manifesto that they are actually removing some, what's that, threshold jewels. So maybe this is getting removed. I'm not sure if that happens. Maybe the build will get nerf or not. Because I haven't read this. Maybe after I finish this recording, I'll just check it and write a note on the screen right now so you can actually see what's going on. And that's pretty much it, nothing else. I'm not even using a Watcher's Eye because I didn't want to make this build very expensive, let's say, but my boots was actually expensive because this normally, again, this build doesn't need that boots. Just get Tailwind or Poison maybe faster, that's pretty much it. The other pieces are mostly under an Exalt or maybe a couple of Exalts. So this build you should probably finish this build with all the gems and everything less than maybe 20 Exalt. Maybe even less, I'm not sure, because it is normally a cheap build. That's pretty much it. I will just let you watch the rest of the clips. I probably saved the boss clips for now so you can actually watch them uninterrupted. So don't forget to subscribe, join my Discord if you want to give me more build ideas. But again, this is the end of the league now. This is probably the final video before Scourge the league finishes, or maybe before the new league comes that you are watching right now. So maybe this is not the right time to give me build ideas, but always write me those ideas in my Discord, because I actually write a note to somewhere, and sometimes after a couple of months maybe I just go back and check those and make those builds actually. Yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you later. Bye bye.